Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini-episode, I have two great stories, folks, with a possible ultra-terrestrial connection. In one, we have these bizarre shadowy entities, and in another, we have yet another encounter with the Chicago Mothman. Let's get into that article now. Giant winged humanoid glides over Carl Schuez High School in Irving Park, Chicago. Let's read the opening and read the full story now, folks. In June 2016, a Chicago driver witnessed an enormous winged humanoid silently gliding over Carl Schuez High School in the Irving Park neighborhood. The size, behavior, and physical structure of the entity placed this encounter among the most significant cases of the modern Chicago winged humanoid wave, raising questions that still remain unanswered. In June 2016, a witness observed a large winged humanoid gliding over Carl Schuez High School in the Irving Park neighborhood of northern Chicago. The witness identified as T.S. shared her account of the sighting. At approximately 8 a.m. local time, T.S. was driving north on North Milwaukee Avenue at the intersection with West Addison Street with Carl Schuez High School on her right side. She had just dropped her son off at a nearby school when she noticed the winged figure gliding above the high school, which she estimated to be 3 stories tall. Yeah, pretty high up there, isn't it, folks? And yet, this entity was seen clearly flying over it. Was it really flying, or was she seeing some sort of image, some sort of spiritual entity? It's an idea that, well, we have to ask, folks, because of the other story we're going to read today, folks, with these gliding, flying entities as well. And the very next article about shadow entities. But either way, let's continue with this particular story, folks, and hear exactly what T.S. basically thought of this flying entity. Did she hear about the local stories of Mothman? Let's read on and see if she basically is surprised at that reveal or not. According to T.S., the being was enormous, measuring at least 10 feet tall, with a wingspan likely between 15 and 20 feet. She described the color as dark brown, possibly black. In contrast to the sunlight, the wings resembled those of a bat, fleshy and slightly lighter than the body, similar to how a bat's wings appear when stretched out in front of a light source. She referenced a photograph taken on August 22, 2011, at 63rd and Palsaki Road in South Chicago, knowing that the creature's shape was very familiar. T.S. emphasized that the winged being had a distinctly humanoid appearance, complete with legs and a thin, elongated body. For the 20 seconds that she observed it, the creature seemed to glide over and hover without flapping its wings. The sighting represents the largest winged humanoid reported to us thus far. So, she apparently did hear about the other Mothman sightings, folks, or she looked it up after she got home about what this entity she saw was. The fact that it seemed to basically have literal organic wings here makes this, me think that this entity was indeed a physical being, but we can't be for sure. Either way, T.S. indeed basically give us one hell of a bizarre sign here, folks. A truly big entity that somehow seems to be physically there and able to fly. Even though, as far as I know, folks, such a being as described, should not be able to fly due to basically the theory of aerodynamics. Either way, very interesting. Here's a picture of the area where the sighting took place, folks, over this school. As you can see, this entity was big, flying over this school, and a truly terrifying account that T.S. had at this intersection, folks. And it's very reminiscent because this area, I think, has also been mentioned in other Mothman accounts in Chicago, at least the same general area. So you can imagine if you saw this, you'd probably be completely out of your mind with fear, or at the very least, so stunned, you'd probably basically just sit in your car until someone basically honked from behind to let you know that you should move, perhaps, folks. Either way, let's move on to the next article. Witness captures repeating light forms and a 5-foot shadow on night vision. And hear about this similar account with these shadowy entities, folks, that brings up the fact that maybe like Mothman, these shadow-like entities, these shadow people and other such things might be ultra-terrestrial phenomena. Let's read on and get into this particular account now. On the night of January 11th, 2026, a resident of Paracourmans County, North Carolina, watched her Ring camera display erupt with fast-moving lights and light forms that should not have existed in the dark river valley surrounding her home. What she later discovered inside the still frames was even more disturbing. A large rectangular shadow where no physical object was present, raising serious questions about what was moving across her porch that night. VW lives in a very dark and rural section of Paraquemes County, near the river, where there are no streetlights, or rather sources of illumination. At approximately 8 p.m. on January 11th, 2026, she noticed a strange light outside her bedroom window. She immediately opened the Ring camera live view and saw multiple bright light forms sweeping across the field of view every 1 to 2 seconds. Now, folks, very interesting so far. Let's continue. The lights appeared in different positions, including the top left, bottom left, and top right corners of the frame. One of the most unusual was an oval-shaped looping light that seemed to grow from the bottom left to the top right and then wave slowly before fading. These lights and light forms repeated in cycles and continued for several minutes. VW began taking screenshots because she was not sure how to record video directly from the live feed. None of the activity triggered the Ring camera motion or sound alerts, even though the lights were clearly moving through the scene. Eventually, the activity stopped. Suddenly, when she went outside to check, there was nothing in the air, nothing on the porch, nothing on the ground. It almost sounds like these light forms were basically messing with this woman, folks. Now, I mentioned that they were shadow entities, but they were made of light. I'm just saying here, folks, that these entities are very reminiscent of shadow and shadow beings, folks. Even the almost, bizarre behavior that they were displaying. Either way, I'm saying that they might be related, maybe the same phenomena, but, there's clearly a difference, but that's just me making up the ideas here, folks. But either way, let's read on. The following morning, while reviewing the images, she noticed something that had not been visible to her earlier. One of the screenshots showed a large rectangular shadow, approximately 5 feet long, projected across her porch. There is nothing in that area capable of casting a shadow of that size or shape. The shadow appeared for only a fraction of a second in the snapshot and was not noticed until later. The entire experience left her unsettled, even though she described herself as open-minded and not easily frightened by unusual events. To gather more data, she ordered a meter capable of measuring EMF, Wi-Fi, and 5G and other frequency ranges to determine whether any anomalous signals might be present around her home. Here is where we actually, navigate to the shadow-type entity phenomena, folks. There was a shadow entity captured on video, just like the light entities. As you can see, there's this shadow here, and these lights streaking across the frame of this screenshot. We don't know what they are. Maybe these light entities and these shadow entities are related. As I said, maybe these are actually, these light entities are shadow beings that have basically learned to project as light or something else. As you can see, there's this weird entities all over the screen here. And there's this one up, by the upper right side here that looks like it is waving at the camera, almost comically. And as you can see, more shadows, more light basically circling around. It's all very strange. What are these entities? What are these shadow beings? Are they related? And how are they related to the Shadow Man phenomena, folks, as well as the Mothman phenomena? Because some people have described Mothman as being a shadowy-like entity as well, folks. Well, except for the glowing red eyes, which, the last Mothman story we just read today, folks, didn't have glowing red eyes, but it was certainly very strange. It makes you think that maybe it was more ethereal, especially with the way it was flying through the air. So, what are these beings? How are they related? And why are people seeing them? Why are they located in Chicago? What interests them there, folks? Are they some sort of, bad omen, like some people say? What about this woman who basically saw these weird lights, at her home, and this shadow entity that was with them? Are they the same thing? Can shadow entities basically project themselves as light? Are they ghosts, perhaps? I mean, some people have described ghostly entities as shadows, so maybe that's exactly what this woman, caught on camera. I don't know, folks. I'm just asking about that, because it's certainly a weird idea. Anyway, we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics That Are Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions or the chat to do so. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure you hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdog's Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.